What's going on? We got another NEBO Mycro video, but this time it is the 450. I got it right here. Now, you may remember, if you've watched my other videos on the NEBO Mycro 400, that I really liked the design, and I really liked the design on the 450. So when I got the 400, people started saying shortly afterwards, they just released a new model. It's an upgrade to the 400. It's a better headlamp. So I waited. I waited and I waited and I waited, and I finally got it. The 450. All right. A couple things about the 400 that I would have liked to have seen improved. The battery life, USB-C, fit and finish. The design is great, but my 400 had a crooked lens, and the battery life wasn't great, and it had the micro USB. And I couldn't believe that a new light would still have micro USB. So I got this one because it has USB-C, and it does have USB-C, and it's awesome. It's great. That means I only have to carry one cable with me if I'm going to bring this light with me, right? USB-C. It's got the nice little flap here to cover it, although it doesn't fit real well. There we go. Now it's in there. The fit and finish seems better. The lens is smooth on this. It's got the same style. It's got the plastic body with the aluminum rim around it. And then I start looking a little closer, and I went, hey, look, it's see-through in the back. The first thing I noticed, is I can't tell if you can see that or not, but it has all the specs for the battery on there. And guess what they did with the battery? I was hoping for a nice big upgrade. It is the exact same battery inside of this. And I thought for a second, well, that's weird. Why would they do that? And I thought maybe I was misremembering. So I went and looked at their website, and I looked at the 400, and nope, it's got that battery. And I looked at the 250, and it's got that battery. And I looked at the 450, and it's got that battery. I looked at the 550, and it's got that battery. Every battery in the NEBO Mycro line is the same battery. That is not promising. I get it. They're trying to save space, trying to make it light, but I don't know if you can see that. There's more room in there. They could put a bigger battery in here. They choose not to. So I start to think, oh, maybe this is a mistake. It's very nice. Well, I say in the box, in the little package, you get the light and you get the headband, which is nice. It's stretchy. It matches the light. So I started testing the performance on it. And one of the first things I want to see was, does it charge faster with the USB-C? Because if the battery life is low and you got USB-C and it charges in 5 minutes, who cares if you can just charge it up real quick? Nope, doesn't increase the charging time. It doesn't add any performance to it whatsoever. It just means I don't have to carry an extra cable. So, okay, minor bonus on that. I start looking at the specs, and let's see, the red, green light, the low, medium, and high beams, all four of those exactly the same as the 400. The turbo mode is 50 lumens brighter, obviously 400 and 450. So the 450 has, well, they say 450 lumens. I have no way of testing that. It does look slightly brighter. But one thing they did not add was a software lock, a programming lock, where like you can hold the button and it'll lock the light down so you can't accidentally hit the button. Because when you're backpacking, you're not wearing your light all the time. Nothing like that on here. So your mode switch just does everything for you. So you turn it on once, you got your red, then you got high, medium, low, green, back to red. So in order to get to turbo, you turn it on, and then I'm trying not to blind the light here. You turn it on, and then you just press and hold the button for 3 seconds. It goes into turbo. It gets a little warm. It is pretty bright, but it only lasts for 30 seconds, and then it steps down. It goes back to whatever setting you had it at. The downside with that is this battery is, again, very small. 450 lumens, pulls quite a bit of power from that battery. And since I've kind of redone this video, this is now the third time, and since I charged it, the battery's probably almost dead now. So it really eats up that battery, and overall in the lifespan of the battery, it's going to kill it. So performance-wise, it's no better. Well, I shouldn't say that. It is a little better. So I ran a test. I tried it on high, which is 150 lumens, same as the 400, and I put them side by side. I just let them run. The 400 only lasted an hour and a half. The 450 lasted for 2.5 hours. Now, their website rates it at an hour for high. So it does do slightly better than it's advertised, but I'm also did this in the house. So perfect conditions. I don't remember how long the 400 lasted initially. It might have been slightly longer than that, but it's a couple years old, and it's sat discharged for quite a while because I just kind of gave up on it. So it'll be interesting to see how this lasts over time with that, but I don't know how much use this is going to get either. I got some bullet points here. I just want to touch on them real quick to talk about this. The battery, all right? So again, the battery is the same exact thing. I just covered that. 200 milliamp hours, 3.7 volts, exact same battery. Performance is going to be about the same unless they change something on the motherboard, but there's not a lot of room in here for electronics. So it's not like there's software they can change. So the brightness, it's slightly noticeably brighter on turbo. On the other modes, it's the same. I'm going to talk about another model that might be a better bet on this, but I'll wait till the end here. The red and green LEDs, why are they on here? They're so dim that the green is probably the more useful of the two. But when your light is up here and you have it on red and you look down and you can't see your feet, it's not bright enough. It doesn't do any good. No point in even having them on there. The turbo mode lasts only 30 seconds. So again, it's a big step down from 450 to 150. So 300 lumen difference. That's a lot. So the turbo it's great, but there's really nothing in between the two. And I don't know, the fit and finish better, but I did pull the power button out by accident. I just picked it up and I went to open the charging port and I had it upside down because it's the same shape. And I just kind of, with my finger, just went like that and I pulled the whole button right out. So, I mean, I put it back in, but it makes me curious about that. I think it's IPv4. So it can take some light rain, maybe a splash or two. But yeah, that kind of, I don't know about that. So it seems to be some quality issues with the NEBO Mycro. I went back and looked at some of my comments from the last video. Some people got really good battery life out of theirs. Some people got horrible battery life out of theirs. At least one person said their battery swelled up and they had to send the thing back. I think they were sending it back, but that's not good. And the replacement battery was more expensive than the headlight. The brightness in the comments, people said, well, maybe it's not the best deal. And I know why they're saying that. So they said the 250 seems brighter than the 450, and it is. So the 250 is the same light. It doesn't have the red and green. It only has a low, medium, and high setting. It doesn't have the turbo. Other than that, it's got the same battery. It's got the same everything else. The high rating on the 250 is 250 since there's no turbo. So 250 lumens versus the high on everything else is 150 lumens. So the 250 is actually a brighter light for all around use than anything else that they have, at least that I can tell. And a couple people asked if there's even a real battery in these things or if it's just false advertising. There is a real battery in there, you can see it, but it's not great. A lot of people had the same comments about the red and green. The turbo, a lot of people said it wasn't bright enough. I think it's fairly bright. And overall, a lot of people say it's just cheaply built and not worth the price. I think it's pretty well built. I'm hoping that my last one was just a fluke, or maybe this one's the fluke and it's built better. I don't know. But it seems decent. They only run about $20, $25. So they're not super expensive. Somebody did point that out to me. I was pretty harsh on the 400. Somebody's like, it's a $20 light. What do you want? Fair point. But all the marketing on the website shows people out in the backcountry using their headlamps and having a good time, not without recharging it a lot. So the NEBO Mycro line that's my kind of concern here. That you've got the 250, the 400, the 450, the 500, the 550 plus, the 700, and the 900, and there might be a couple of those variations of those. Some of them have different light configurations. They don't have the red and green. Like the 250 is just the main beam. The 550, I think the plus models have a spotlight instead of the red and green, but there's a red light in there somewhere. But they all are the same size, the same footprint. They just change this piece to suit what they're going to do. I think one has 2 buttons. I'm not sure what the second button does, but they're all basically the same footprint, which means that even if they did put a bigger battery in there, it's not much. So 700 and 900 lumens are going to eat this little battery up. From a design standpoint, I get it. It's called the Mycro. It's supposed to be small, supposed to be light. They could go a little bigger, maybe not even like this way, but maybe a little deeper, and put a slightly bigger battery in there. Change these red and green, get rid of the green, just go with red. Make it a little bit deeper, put a bigger battery in there, and it might be okay. But the fact that every one of the Mycros is the same footprint, I don't think I would want to buy any other of the Mycros, anything with any higher lumens, because the battery life is just horrendous on these lower models. And I mean, for around the house, if you're going to put this in your car, you can use it for emergencies. Maybe you use it to take your dog for a walk, whatever. You're going car camping, you're at a state park, and there's other light around, not a bad idea. For backcountry though, I still don't see it. And the reason is the same. If there's an emergency and I need to hike out of camp and I've got to go, let's say even 2.5 hours to get back to the car, am I going to trust that high beam that barely lasts 2.5 hours? If I could go down to maybe medium, but medium's not very bright. I think it's only 50 lumens. So that's going to slow me down, which means the time that I gain by stepping down the battery, I'm going to lose in hiking out. I just can't trust this, and the fact that it just shuts off and there's no warning whatsoever. So I'd have to hike, stop, charge, hike, maybe make it to the car. And those instances are rare, but they do happen. So I'm not sure that as in being someone who doesn't use their headlamp consistently all night, and I still have concerns over that battery, that's not good. I know they do make other lines. NEBO and Mycro is not the only headlamp line they make. I don't know if I can be bothered to test another one, maybe, but it depends on your use case. It's not a horrible headlamp. It's not the worst thing. I don't want to be too critical on it, but it's not a backcountry headlamp. This is not a backpacking headlamp at all. I really would like it to be, because it is nice and light, and it is versatile enough that I can use the headband, or I can clip it onto I've got that Cole beanie that has the mount on there for my old light that I was able to convert to fit one of these. I really wanted this to be a much better light, but with that battery, I just can't. I can't risk it unless I know I'm not going to be far from the car. But then again, temperature. weather. There's a lot of things that could go wrong with this if buttons are popping out easy. And this doesn't seat very well. Yeah, I'm not sure, because it doesn't seem like they really put a lot of thought into that redesign. It's not even a redesign. They just used the same molds, bumped up the lumens a little bit, and that seems like that's all they do in the NEBO line, or in the Mycro line, is they just bump up lumens, maybe change what kind of light it has on a couple of them, but all in all, it's the same light with just a USB-C, which again is nice, and it was something I was really excited to see, because then I don't have to worry about carrying that extra cable, which doesn't seem like a big thing, but when you've got a bunch of charging cables stuffed in with your battery pack, and you pull out your battery pack and one goes flying because they're all tangled together. I mean, if I lose one, I'm screwed. So maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing to have a separate cable. But I thought at least they would be able to add some kind of fast charge to this, so it would charge faster, and that doesn't seem to be the case. So if someone from NEBO is listening and you want to make this a better light, here's what you do. You make it a little bit thicker. Maybe you make it flush with that lens. You just boom, pop it out. It gives you a little bit more room. You put a bigger battery in here. When you use 200 milliamp hours, go 400 milliamp hours. You keep the USB-C, you add fast charging. You make these ports a little bit more secure. You keep everything else, and you might have a really good light. Yeah, it's going to cost a little more. It's going to be a little bit heavier, but it can afford it. It's light enough. It doesn't, if it's a gram or two heavier, nobody's really going to care. I don't know. That's what I would do. Whether they do that or not, probably not. So for you, what should you do? It depends what you're using it for. For backcountry, wouldn't trust it. That's just me. For just camping in the campground, maybe around the house, yeah, it's good light. Just make sure you charge it when you're done using it. That's the best advice I can give you. No matter what you're doing with this, once you use it for a little while, charge it so it's fully charged next time you pick it up. I'm spoiled by lights that will last 2 weeks, where you can just plug it in, and that setting, that low setting on that will last for 2 weeks, is usable. Not so with this. You've got high, which is usable, medium, which is a little usable if you're sitting at camp and you're trying to like get something prepped. The low doesn't really do much for you. The red and green are useless, and the turbo just kills your battery. So I don't know, maybe up that high. All right, if you've got your turbo at 450, your high should be at least 250, and it's doable because your 250, the high is 250. So I don't get where they're trying to save there. But that's the NEBO Mycro 450. If you have any questions on it, let me know in the comments. I've got the 400 and the 450 here. They're the same light. They're the same light. Really no upgrade there whatsoever, other than USB-C. But they just crammed that into the same port. And I don't know if you can see that. So that's the C. And this is the micro USB. And actually the micro USB seems to, ooh, I just blinded you. I'm sorry about that. That's the problem with that switch. Is really, really easy to hit. So that's another thing. Make that switch so you can kind of lock it so it doesn't get bumped. But yeah, that's flush. That's much more flush than the C. That seems like, yeah, that just opens real easy. Yeah, I don't know. Wow, that button. Yeah, the more I look at it, the less I'm impressed with this. It's good for home, walking the dog maybe. But other than that, I don't think I recommend it for backcountry. I definitely can't recommend it for backcountry. Maybe car camping. But all right, I'm rambling now. That's the NEBO Mycro 450. If you're looking for a cheap light around the house, not a bad deal. Anything other than that, look around. Can't recommend it for anything greater than that. Wish I could. That's going to do it for this one. Hope this helped a little bit. See you in the next.